Hello students, welcome back to the course SQL. In the last session, we have learned why and where we can use SQL. And today we'll learn what is SQL, what can we do using SQL, and we'll begin with SQL queries. So let's start. What is SQL? Before that, we need to know SQL. This is actually the abbreviation, and it stands for Structured Query Language. That means the full form of SQL is Structured Query Language, and SQL, that is the abbreviated form. And we have already learned that SQL is a standard language specially for database, that is to communicate with database for storing, accessing, manipulating, and retrieving data from the database. So using SQL, we can actually communicate with the database or give instruction to the database. And this SQL, a query language, becomes standardized by the American National Standard Institute, that is abbreviated as ANSI, in the year of 1986, and the International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO, in the year of 1987. So what is query? Query is nothing but a set of instruction given to the database system or the database management system to perform some task. What is database system? It is actually nothing but a system. And we know that a system or a machine doesn't perform a single task or job until we would give instruction to the system or machine. And to give the instruction, we need to communicate. That means we need some language that could be understood by the system. So query gives us those instruction, or using query language we can give those instruction to the system. So in the form of definition, we can say a query language is a special language specially designed for database, using which we can perform a different kind of queries on a database or relational database management system. Different kind of queries means what? By using queries, we'll perform some task, whatever we want or we want to get from the database. So such as SQL is one of them. SQL is a query language. But along with that, we need to know query language, or using query language, we can give the instruction to the database. Those are supported by the database, but this query language cannot perform the task like branching, looping, that is the decision making operation or task which we can perform using the programming languages like C, C++, Java, and many more are there. So this is the difference between query language and programming language. Okay. So what can we do using query language? We can execute queries in a database. All we know that is query language, especially for database, then we definitely need to execute the queries on a database. What kind of queries? We can retrieve data from the database. We can insert record in a database. We can update record or data in a database. We can delete records or data in the from our database. And when we are retrieving or updating or deleting data data in a database, before that we need to create the database tables, and we need to insert those data. So using SQL we can also perform those, like we can create database, we can create new tables in a database, and definitely a database contains many tables, like if we consider an educational institution as a database, or we can create some a database for a particular organization. uh, that database will contain tables or relations, like uh, we are considering for a educational organization, like departments, faculty, students, library data, this library table. So like the finance department, that is finance table will contain the data regarding finance department, and the faculty table will contain the data or record regarding all the faculties of that institution. A student table contains the personal record for students, and the library table will contain the book available in the libraries and all the associative records regarding each and every books, and so on. So uh, SQL can also store procedures in a database, which we'll discuss later. It can create view in a database. What is view? View is actually uh, it's a specific uh, data from a particular table. So if we want to uh, if we want to get a particular portion of data from a table, not the entire table, then we can create the view of the that portion of the table. Okay. It can also set permission on tables, procedure, and views. Uh, so this uh, task can be done using SQL. Along with that, SQL can also perform some administrative tasks, such as regarding the database security, backup, user management, etc., etc. But these tasks are exclusive for the database administrator or DBA. Not all the user can perform this kind of task using SQL. Okay. Next, what we'll learn here. So, what can we do using SQL? We can uh, execute some database queries using SQL. So how could we use this SQL, or how we can execute those queries in different databases like Oracle, MySQL, MS SQL Server, MS Access, Sybase, Infomix, and many more relational database systems. And definitely we can perform these SQL queries on the relational database system. We have already discussed about that SQL queries could be performed on the relational database system, not the non-relational database system, right? Now we have already seen that SQL has been standardized by the ANSI and ISO. Since it has different version, because different databases come with their own SQL versions. Okay, maybe for that there is some minor differences are there, like the SQL in the Oracle and SQL in the MySQL, there are having some minor differences between uh, these two versions, but the major comments are uh, very similar, because these are standardized by the by those organization. They need to follow the major commands in a similar manner. Okay, so if we learn the SQL, the standard form of SQL, we can use the SQL in uh, all the databases. Maybe we need to change some minor form, but that will be not a very problem for them. So let's start with the SQL commands. So these are the very common SQL queries, like create, insert, select, update, delete, alter, drop, and many more are there. And we can categorize all the SQL queries in mainly these three groups, that these are DDL, DML, and DCL. DDL means data definition language, DML means data manipulation language, and DCL means data control language. DDL, or data definition language, actually consists of the SQL commands that are that can be used to define the database schema, or database, we can say database objects. That's mean using DDL we can define the structure of database objects in the databases. Okay, DML, or data manipulation language, consists the command that deals with the manipulation of data present in the database. Database. So that's mean using DML queries, we can actually get those data which we want to retrieve from the database. Okay, and DCL, or data control language, that includes the commands or queries such as grant, revoke, which mainly deals with the rights, permissions, or other controls of the database system, right? And along with these main uh, group, there has another uh, category that is called transaction control language, or TCL, mm, which deals with the transaction within the database. We'll discuss that uh, in a briefly later. So in DDL, create, alter, drop, this command comes under DDL category. So using create, we can create table, we can create view of a table or other object, like even we can create a new database for the database system. And using alter, we can modify an existing database object such as table or view. Okay, and using drop query, we can delete an entire table, a view of a table, or other object in the database. Okay, next is DML, or data manipulation language. Uh, okay, before we discuss DML, we can discuss some other DDL commands like truncate, command, rename. These are not frequently used, but these are also DDL commands. So using truncate, what can we do? We can remove all the records from a database, including all spaces allocated for the record are removed. That is, that means using drop, we can delete or remove the entire table from a database, but using truncate will not delete the table structure, but will delete all the records within a table. Okay, comment this query is used to comment to the database dictionary. What is database dictionary? Database dictionary is the data where we can contain the metadata. And metadata, what is metadata? That is the data about data. Then for that we can create some command using this command query. Okay, and rename, using rename we can rename an existing object in the database. That's mean we can rename a table object in the database. Okay, now DML. DML is data manipulation language, and under DML, the select, insert, update, delete, these commands are come. So using select, we can retrieve certain record from one or more table. Certain record means we can also retrieve, using select we can also retrieve the all the record from a table, and few record from the table by filtering using some condition. We, sorry, we'll discuss all this in the example, in the when we illustrate all the example on this command. And using insert command we can create record or insert record in the table. Using update command we can modify the record. Now the thing is, in the DDL, using alter we can modify the database object, and here we can modify the records in the table. That's mean alter can modify the object and update can modify the records. That's mean the data. Okay. In using delete we can delete the records from the table. Now we have seen in DDL within the drop query, using which we can delete the entire table. And here we have also learned about the truncate command, using which we can delete all the records from the table. But using delete we can delete a single or more than one record from a table based on some condition. Okay, that means if we compare delete and truncate, because delete and truncate both are deleting records, not the entire table, but the drop command delete the entire table from the database, and truncate and delete, these two commands delete the records from those tables. But what are the difference between them? Delete is used to remove records one by one from the table and makes an entry for each and every deletion in the transaction log table. Whereas truncate is used to remove all the records from a table at a time. And the delete command can be rollback, but truncate cannot be rollback. What is rollback? We'll discuss soon. And here one more thing is there. Sometimes or somewhere we'll get that this SQL command is also referred to as data query language. That's mean within DML we can further categorize the SQL query as a DQL or data query language, because using select in most of the to perform most of the queries, while we are using select command, that's why sometimes it is referred to as data query language. Okay, next, DCL, data control language. We have already heard that grant and revoke, these two commands. Using grant query we give the access privilege to the user, and using revoke we take back or we can withdraw the granted access privileges from the user. But this command can be performed by the database administrator or DBA. Now What are the giving access permission and withdrawing those permission? We can consider on an example. Now, suppose this is a table. There are 6 columns or attributes. Now, this black suit person is a database administrator, and there are 3 other users. One is red, green, and blue. Now, the DBA wants that the red person can access only this portion, this red portion. The green person can access only this 3 and 4, this third and fourth column green portion, and the blue person can access only fifth and sixth column, the blue portion. Okay. Using grant command, the administrator can give the privilege to those permission to the particular user, and if he or she want, he can also withdraw those permission by using revoke command like this. Okay, and whenever he want, he will again grant those permission. Okay, so these are the DCL command or data control language command. And as we discussed earlier, that is another one category is there, that is TCL or transaction control language, under which come the commit, rollback, which we have discussed for when we are discussing delete, the difference between delete and truncate. The rollback command comes under TCL category. And so commit, rollback, save point, set transaction, these queries comes under TCL category. So commit, using commit command, we can actually finalize or commit a transaction. Okay, that's mean when a person is performing a query or task, until he or she will commit that command, that job will not be finalized. Okay, so this is a facility, we can say, and that is provided by the database system. And rollback is a transaction. In case of any error occurs, we can roll back in the previous condition or previous state of the database. Okay, so we have learned the categories in which we can divide all the database queries that are supported by any database system, right? What are they? DDL, data definition language; DML, data manipulation language, under which we can also consider DQL or data query language, and DCL, data control language, and finally transaction control language or TCL. Now let's start with the comments. Now SQL queries allows some arithmetic operations like plus, minus, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. So all we know what is addition, what is subtraction, what is multiplication, division. All we know what are they. In addition, it adds values on either side of the operation. That means it add some uh, the values of two or more operand and store in another operand. As like that subtraction, it subtract from one operand to another and store the result on another operand. As it is, multiplication and division also perform the same way. But what is modulus? Actually, it also divide, but instead of quotient, it stored the remainder in the resultant portion. Okay. Along with the arithmetic operation, it also support the comparison operator like equal to, not equal to. Here we are getting two operator. One is the second and third one. Both are specifying the not equal to operator. Okay. And the greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. This kind of comparison operators are supported by the SQL command. SQL also supports the logical operator like and, or, not. What are they? We'll all illustrate with examples with this operator, and then it will be more clear to us. So AND operator allows the existence of multiple conditions in a SQL statement by using where we can specify those conditions. Okay, as like that, the OR operator is used to combine multiple conditions in an SQL statement using where clause. Now, then what are the difference? The difference is when we'll use AND operator, we have to satisfy all the conditions specified by the or using where clause or where operator. But in case of OR, maybe there are more than one conditions are there, but they need to satisfy all that. They could be satisfied, but if the one of them will be satisfied, the SQL query will be executed. Okay. And not operator, it actually the reverse meaning of an operator with which it is used, like not exist. That means it is the reverse of exist, not between. It is reverse of between, not in. Reverse of in. That means we need to use the not operator along with another operator, and it actually negate that operator. Okay. So some other operators are there like all, any, between, exist, in, like, unique, distinct, and we'll discuss all these operators along with some suitable examples. Okay. Let's consider these 6 tables or relation on which we'll illustrate all our examples in the subsequent pages or slides. So what are these tables? Branch, customer, loan, borrower, account, depositor. And in the branch table, there are 3 attributes: branch name, branch city, asset. And branch name is the primary key of that branch table. That's mean all these underlying attributes are the primary key for the corresponding tables. What is primary key? We have learned that primary key is the set of one or more attributes using which we can uniquely identify all the records in that particular table. Now, here we are considering only one attribute as a primary key for each table. But it may possible that we need to consider more than one attribute together to form a primary key. Okay. So for customer table, there are also 3 attributes: customer name, customer street, customer city, and the customer name is the primary key for customer table. For loan table, there are also 3 attributes: branch name, loan number, loan amount, and loan number is the primary key for loan table. For borrower, customer name and loan number are the attributes, and loan number is the primary key for the table borrower. And for account table, there are again 3 attributes: branch name, account number, and balance. And account number is the primary key for account table. In the depositor table, there are 2 attributes: customer name and account number is the primary key for the table depositor. Now let's consider the branch table, which is looks like that. Okay, so after creating the table and inserting some data in the table, it will be look like that. So there are 3 columns: branch name, branch city, and asset, and there are 5 records are there. Now see, branch name is the primary key, and all these value of branch name are unique. That's mean primary key must be unique. But now consider branch city. The same value could be repeated there, like SBI Baliganj, SBI Jadavpur, SBI Shambajar. These 3 branches are situated in the city Kolkata, and SBI Belur and SBI Shivpur both are situated in the city Howrah, and they have their own asset value. Okay. Now considering another example, the table account. Here also 3 attributes, and there are 3 columns like branch name, account number, balance. And here the account number is the primary key, and this uh, account number value are unique for all the 5 records. right? But again consider the branch name has been repeated. That's mean the first one and the fifth one, these two accounts are in the SBI Baliganj. The second and fourth, these two accounts are in the SBI Jadavpur. So we need to specify, or this must be satisfied, that the primary key must be unique for all the tables. Okay, and this is uh, inclusively uh, performed by the database also. No database will consider or allow to insert same value for the primary key, or primary key same value repetition are not allowed by the database system, right? Now start with the create command. So how to create a table using create command? Now if we are creating the branch table, so there are three attributes: branch name, branch city, asset. So how to create that table? Let's say the command is create table, then create space table space branch name, that is the table name, again space bracket. Next I am giving here space, but that is not mandatory. Then attribute name, that is branch name, space varchar2, this is the data type, and within bracket we have specified the size, then comma, next attribute name, space data type for that attribute, and within bracket the size of that attribute. Again the next attribute, space the data type, and along with the size of that attribute within bracket, then again bracket close, semicolon. By semicolon we are specifying the query has been ended. So what we are specifying here, the first create table, table name, then attribute name, space data type of that attribute, again the size of the attribute. Okay, so for all attributes we have to follow this rule. That's mean attribute name space data type of that attribute, then within bracket the size. What is the size? That's mean for branch name we can store maximum 40 character, for branch city we can store maximum 20 character, and for asset we can store maximum 10 digit, because this is a number type. And this is a varchar type means character or set of character, that is string type, and the data type is varchar2. In some databases use text, but here in the standard form we are using varchar2. Okay, as like that, to create the customer table, the query will be create space table name customer space the attribute name, sorry, opening bracket, attribute name customer name space data type varchar2 within bracket, the size here I am specifying 40. That's mean the customer name, the the maximum number of character we can store for customer name is 40. Okay, the customer street space data type varchar2 within bracket, the size is 40, and lastly customer city, the data type is varchar2 for customer city and the size is 20. So these red words are means attribute name, greens means data type, and blue means size of that attribute. Okay, next we have told that every table must have a primary key to uniquely identify the record of that table. That's mean we have to specify the primary key also. Now here in the previous slide we have only create the table, that means structure of the table, the attribute along with the table name along with attribute name, their data type and size, but we haven't specified the primary key. So to specify the primary key, here we also need to use the syntax primary key to specify primary key. So the entire statement to create the table branch with primary key would be create table branch bracket start branch name one attribute varchar2 data type within bracket 40 the size of the attribute, then comma next attribute branch city varchar2 within bracket 20 comma assets number data type within bracket 10 comma. Now in the previous slide we had closed the bracket, but here we are putting a comma, then write primary key within bracket the attribute name which we want to specify as a primary key, that is branch name for branch table, then after close the bracket and put the semicolon, right? As like that, for customer table, create table customer bracket open customer name varchar2 within bracket 40 comma customer street space varchar2 within bracket 40 comma These are size, comma, again customer city, bracket 2, the data type, within bracket 20, the size of the attribute, comma, primary key, customer name is the primary key for customer table, then bracket close, semicolon. Okay, so how can we specify the primary key? I have discussed here. Now, the another clause is, suppose it is, we have understood that we have to specify a primary key for every table. Now consider the table branch. Now when a bank is opening a branch, definitely we have to specify, sorry, the branch have to specify the branch name, and when the bank is opening a branch, that building must be in a city or in a place. It is not possible that the bank is opening a branch in a place which does not exist. So that place or branch city must exist. So we need to also specify that branch city could not be null. Have to specify the branch city. It may possible that at the time of opening, the branch don't have the asset, but that must exist in some city. So how could we do that? But this is not the primary key. Still, it could not be null. So in that case, we have to check whether that attribute would not be null. How could we do that? Create table branch name varchar 240 comma branch city varchar 220 comma asset number, that is asset is the attribute name, number is the data type for asset, size is 20, that's mean 20 digits, maximum 20 digits can be stored for asset, comma primary key branch name is a primary key. Along with that, we have to check, this is a keyword, check within bracket, that is branch city space not null, these are also keyword. Okay, and finally close the bracket and put the semicolon. So hopefully it is clear how can we create tables in all the way. Okay, next, after creating a table, we need to insert data. So using insert query, we can insert data or records in those tables. So we are considering the branch table on which we are inserting a record. How can we insert? Let's see, insert space into space the table name, that is branch here, again open the bracket. Now within bracket we have to specify all the attribute name of that particular table, and after that close the bracket, then space, values bracket and then put the values for those particular attributes in order. In which order we have specified the attribute name in this query. Like here I am specifying branch name, so SBI Howrah has been specified in the first, then branch city Howrah, then asset, the amount. Now look, the Howrah and SBI Howrah, these are within bracket, within code, whereas the amount 2 lakh is not within the query, right? Because we don't need to put number or digits within code, but when we are giving any string value or character value, we need to put it within code quotation. Okay, so if I will put the branch city in first, I need to put the Howrah in first. That's mean in which order we are writing the attribute names in this query, we have to put the values in the same order. Okay. Now here I am illustrating the procedure with the attribute name, but without attribute name we can also put the values, like insert into branch, then directly put the values without specifying the attribute name SBI Howrah, and the asset amount 2 lakhs here. But we have to remember here that when we will not use the attribute name of that particular table, we have to put the values of those attributes in the actual order in which they are in the table. But when we are specifying the attribute name, we can alter that sequence. But in that case, in which order we'll specify the attribute name, we have to put the values there. Like if I'll consider asset first, then branch name, then branch city, then I have to put here the value 2 lakhs, SBI Howrah, then Howrah. Okay, hopefully it is clear. Now we'll start with select query. The select query is used to fetch data from a database table which returns the data in the form of a result table, and the result table is called result set. Like here I want to find all the customer name in the database. So what will be the query? So actually what I want to do, I want to fetch the customer name from the table. And in which table will I will found the customer name? Definitely in the customer table. Select attribute name, that is customer name, from table name, that is customer. Right. I can also write this query in such manner like select customer name from customer. What is that? That is select table name dot attribute name from table name. That is select table name is customer dot attribute name is customer name from table name, that is customer. Okay. Now if I want to fetch all the values for all customer in the database, what will I do, or how to write the query? What are the attributes or properties are there for each customer? In the customer table, there are three attributes: customer name, customer street, customer city. Then I have to specify all those. That is select customer name, comma, customer street, comma, using comma, I am separating all the attributes, comma, customer city, space, from, space, table name, that is customer. I can also write here like select customer name, comma, customer city, comma, customer street, comma, customer city from customer. I can alter the sequence. That not an issue. Okay. Okay. I can write in such way, but I can write in another way like select star or asterisk, that is called asterisk star, from customer name. Sorry, customer, that is a table name. This star or asterisk specifies all the attribute name in a particular table. So if I will use the symbol star or asterisk, I don't need to specify all the attribute names then. So when I need to fetch all the values for all the records for all the values for the records in a table, we can use this operator star or asterisk. We have already learned that select query that supports arithmetic operators, that is plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulation. These are supported by the select query. So how can we use, or where this operator will be used? Let's see. Now find account details with 10% increase in balance attribute. Now to perform this query, which table we need to consider? The account table, because the balance values are stored there. So how to perform this query? Select branch name, account number, And in case of balance, we need the in 10% increase value, that is balance plus balance into 10 by 100, and 10 by 100 means what? 0.1. That's mean balance plus balance into 0.1, the entire value from account. So here we are using this arithmetic operation instead of only balance attribute. So in such cases, we need to use the arithmetic operators. We can also use in such way, that is select branch name, account number, balance into 1.1 from account. Now if we get the balance common, then what will happen? 1 plus 0.1, balance within bracket 1 plus 0.1, and 1 plus 0.1 means 1.1. Simple arithmetic operation as we are doing in our regular life. We can put this concept also here. Very simple. Okay. For all other arithmetic operators, where how we are doing in our regular life, we can use those concepts here. Very in easy way. Now we are considering the where clause. The where clause is used to specify a condition while fetching the data from a single table or by joining with multiple tables. And if the given condition is satisfied, then only it returns a specific value from the table. And we should use the where clause to filter the records and fetching only the necessary records. The where clause is not only used in the select query, it is also used in the update delete queries, which would be illustrated in the subsequent slides. Okay. And the basic syntax of the select query with the where clause is as select space column names, that is column 1, column 2 up to column n, what are the columns are there, space from space table name, from which table we want to fetch those data, and then space where space. Now we need to specify the condition based on which we are fetching the data. Like we want to fetch the customer name from the customer table, those who are live in city Kolkata. Then what will it? Select customer name, comma customer city, customer seat, or we can put select star from customer, that is a table name, where customer city equal to Kolkata, and this Kolkata must be specified within code, and then semicolon. So here we can see that we can specify a condition using the comparison or logical operator like greater than, less than, equal to, like, and or not, etc, etc. Okay, now consider another example. Find all the account number whose balance is greater than or equal to 20,000. So we need to consider the account table, and the query would be select account number comma balance from table name, that is account, where balance greater than equal to 20,000, greater than equal to semicolon, right? Next, and an or operator. We have seen these two operators are logical operators, and these two operators are also called conjunctive operators, because these two operators are used to combine multiple conditions to narrow an SQL statement, as these two operators provide a means to make multiple comparisons with different operators like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, etc. in the same SQL statement. And as I told earlier, that when AND operator is used, then all these multiple condition must be satisfied, execute the statement. But in case of OR operator, they all could be satisfied. That is fine. But if one of them or some of them would be satisfied, in that case also that query will be executed. So this is the difference between AND and OR operator. Okay. So for example, or if we consider this example like find all loan numbers in the branch SBI Kakurgachi with loan amount greater than 50,000. What will be the query? Here we need to consider the table loan. So the query would be select loan number, amount, loan number comma amount space from space table name, that is loan here, space where space branch name equal to Kakurgachi. Kakurgachi must be within, SBI Kakurgachi must be within quotation because this is a string type value, space and space amount greater than 50,000. So in this command, these two branch name equal to Kakurgachi and amount greater than 50,000, both must be satisfied. Otherwise, no record will be selected from the table loan. Now I am specifying, I am telling one more thing, that I am always saying that select loan number comma amount space from space loan number space where, like that. But the examples are written here like select from in the second line, where in the second line, and in the second line. All of you can follow both ways. You can write the form here also, after definitely after putting a space, definitely, and you can also write in this manner. If you will follow this manner, that will be well and fine, very good. But if we'll write in a single line, then the query or statement will be also be executed. But this is a good practice in this way by which I am writing the query here. Okay. Now, where we can use, or where the OR operator would be used. Now, considering an example, find all the customer name, those who live in Kolkata or Bangalore. Now, like Kolkata or Bangalore, the customer could be live either in Kolkata or in Bangalore. They don't need to live in both the places. And the thing is, not a person can't live in both the places simultaneously. Okay, so in such cases, we'll use the OR operator. What will be the query? Select space customer name, the attribute name, from space customer table, that is a table name customer, where customer city equal to Kolkata, within quote Kolkata, or customer city equal to Bangalore. Okay. Now the between operator. This between operator is used to search for values that are within a set of values where the minimum value and the maximum value are given. Consider the example. For all loan numbers with loan amount within 20,000 and 50,000. We can also perform this query by perform these tasks by using the queries whatever we have learned till now. That is, select loan number, comma, amount from the table name loan, where amount greater than 20 equal to 20,000 and amount less than equal to 50,000. We have already learned where and operator. So that's mean it will select all those loan number from the loan table where amount would be greater than 20,000 and as well as that must be less than 50,000. So using between, that's mean the amount those are in between 20,000 and 50,000, also considering both these values, those records or loan number would be selected. So we can write the query in this way also, that is select loan number comma amount from loan where amount between 20,000 and 50,000, right? I hope this is clear to all of you. That's all for today. Thank you for watching the video, and we will continue our course on next class.